Hello, 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 beautiful woman, and maybe some men who are watching as well. Welcome. Welcome to my weekly live. My name is Lala Angela Wang. I am the mourner's mentor. I help women discover more of their mourners so they can be more, have more, feel more, and through all of that, do more, have more success in their life. So this is my weekly live that I do on two channels. One is my Facebook page, and the other is on YouTube. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're watching right now, interaction and connection is my middle name. So if you could say hello, I would love to be able to get to know you more, interact with you a bit more, and let's just start with where you're from and where are you right now. Where are you in the world right now while I share this onto my personal profile on Facebook? Let's see. Great, we are on Facebook now, and I've just shared it onto my personal profile. Fantastic. I'm just going to do one thing before we go. Just want to make sure you can hear me. It's nothing worse when you're talking online and it's like, oh, I don't think people can hear me. Right. So if you're watching right now, please let me know if you can hear me or not. Otherwise, at the same time, I am just going to double check. Great, we are on Facebook now. There we go. There's a bit of a delay, but definitely I can hear me. So that's all good. That makes me really, really happy. Okay, here we go. Like I said, if you've never met me before, welcome, welcome, welcome. This show is currently broadcast on Facebook and also YouTube. And what I tend to do is also, once that's done, put it onto my, what do you call it again? Oh, podcast. My podcast is called Range Woman, the variety show. So if you're listening to the replays through the podcast, or whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, you can still say hello to me by sending me a private message. Now, now. If you've been following me for a while, I just like to say I've had the most wonderful working holiday, and I call it working holidays because I went to Cairns for 4 days over the weekend and also at the beginning of the week. And part of the purpose is to meet up with one of my private client, my long-term private client, Tani Kingsford. But also, I'm a big believer that you gotta have a bit of fun while you're working as well. That's why I call it a working holiday because I don't work the whole time, right? In fact, I landed in Cairns on Saturday, and Saturday was the fun day where I, get myself into the groove, suss out the things that I want to do in Cairns. Because Tani's going through her architecture degree at the moment, so I went and looked at all the places I want to take her to and get an understanding and feel into the vibes. And then Saturday, so that was Saturday, and then Sunday, I met up with Tani, first time in person, and also her mum's actually my coach, Jana Kingsford, as well. And then we hang out Sunday and Monday. It was really good because I get to experience firsthand how Tani works, but also it made me realize how much I have grown as a mentor to be able to actually be there and hold space for somebody. How often do you feel like, it's not like you don't have the capability to do things on your own, right? But it's just different when there's somebody holding that space for you. You all of a sudden, when you're doing things in a group, you become far more productive. That's the energy that we're talking about. And I do believe that energy works both ways. And for me, when I can work in the energy of buildings and human and combine the two together, that's when the magic happens. And so for me, this weekend, as much as it is about giving, I've also received the energy and recharge. I really felt really recharged and rejuvenated, but also the ideas have just kept coming. And I have come to the conclusion that one, it's a working holiday because I'm moving through things. I'm doing things while resting as well, and there's that balance. But at the same time, when we're giving as mentors and coaches, we also get to receive at the same time from our client. And for me, I also receive the energy from nature and receiving the energy and the downloads from buildings. And this is what I really believe. Like human beings, we know we're energetic beings, but I do believe buildings are energetic beings too, almost like they have a life of their own. So it was a really interesting experience for me to feel into the energy of buildings and being in the receiving mode, and just like really tuning into it and receive it. You might be saying, Lala, what has it got to do with our career? And I think for me, I struggled the longest time understanding how I can have this linkage between two of my favorite things. Right? One is construction, and the other one is mentoring and helping other women to discover their moreness. And really, it wasn't until recently I start to see the connection. For me, for the longest time, it's always been that struggle. I'm seeing the entrepreneurs around me, the side hustlers around me, quitting their 9 to 5 and really fully take ownership for the business. I'm also seeing people doing their 9 to 5 and just doing their 9 to 5. And I forever feel like for the past 5 years, 6 years now, since I've had my businesses, I've had a few, that struggle. The question I always get asked is, Lala, when are you going to quit your job? Are you eventually going to quit your job? Or, is this going to stay a hobby forever? And for the longest time, I struggled to answer that question. It's like, well, I'm not going to quit my 9 to 5. I don't see myself quitting my 9 to 5. But at the same time, I know my business isn't just a hobby, right? If it's just a hobby, I wouldn't put so much of myself into it. And what I have realized is, you know what? Having this business has actually helped me become a better employee. I am more organized, but also I can see I actually run my career like a business. Right? I can run my career and see it from a business perspective. I understand how every single one of my steps, I've got cat hair over me. Well, no. How every single one of my steps, my decisions, and my action is now not just coming from an employee perspective. Because if I am an employee, to be honest, I don't really care about my boss's business. But now, because I am a business owner, I understand some of the decisions that we need to make in order to enhance the business, not just my salary, right? And this is what something that I'm seeing in a lot of my colleagues or my clients who come to me for career advice. So I've been working in construction for 15 years, and quite often, because of what I do in the mentoring space, and because of the success that I have managed to create in my construction career and my business, quite often people will come to me and ask for advice. Um, and one of the things I've been asked a lot lately is because of COVID, the construction industry has become an interesting industry. What you'll find is people has reevaluated their position and what does work actually mean to them, but also what does life actually mean to them, what kind of life they want to create, what does their family really need from them. So what we're seeing in our industry is, and I think this is across all industries, right? What I'm really seeing in a lot of industries is people moving to other states, people moving to other opportunities because they now desire to create something more than just their career. Because they now desire to create something that's more than just a career. They now desire to create a lifestyle that will support the vision that they have for their family. I've had people in senior positions in our organization move to other states because it's going to give their family a better lifestyle. It allows them to be closer to their extended family. It allows them the prospect of being able to have a more relaxed lifestyle and spend more time with their family. But because of people are moving, we're also seeing there's now gaps in senior positions for people to step in. So that becomes a very interesting dynamic where before COVID, 12 months ago, there are all these people sitting in middle management positions wanting to jump up, and they were like, there's no way. And if you know construction, you know it's actually an old man's game. The older they get, or woman's game, whichever gender you are, or person's game. So the older you are, the more valuable you are in construction, right? In terms of project management, in terms of offering advice and offering a service. But what we're getting as well is a lot of the older generations in their 60s, some in their 70s, because they love what they do so much, they stay in that position forever. And quite often, succession management or succession planning isn't that well done, right? So all these young people are sitting down and going like, when am I going to have my chance? When am I going to have that opportunity to step up? All of a sudden, these doorways open. But what we are really seeing is that, yes, doorways open, but this is also the time where some people are sitting there going like, well, is it going to be me or is it going to be someone else? All these promises that, senior management has been making to me in the past 10, or maybe not 10 years, that's exaggerating, in the past few years, is that actually going to come to fruition? Are they just empty promises to keep me here? Or are they actually going to stick with the words? Or I have people sitting there before COVID waiting for a promotion. And because of COVID, they not only not have had a promotion, maybe for the last year and a half, 2 years, they also don't have a pay rise. Right? A lot of the companies, I know at least my organization and a lot of the companies in my industry has literally put a pay freeze at the end of last year. And for me, my mentality has been, because I know the way that my company operates, don't even ask. It's not going to happen. And, the truth is, you can ask, but it's probably not going to happen. But also, they're going to be looking at you going, how ungrateful is this person? So that's the company culture. So that's the next thing that I'm going to cover. So I had a lot of people coming to me either asking for advice about how do they promote themselves in a promotion situation, or feeling really despaired with the industry, or people who's wanting a pay rise ask me for advice as to how do they ask for a pay rise. And this is really what I'm seeing when it comes to these what I call critical times. I'm seeing the difference between how people treat their career as a job and people treating their career as a business. Right. And the first thing that I always ask, these people is, have you got a mentor? Have you got a coach? Have you got a mentor? And I can guarantee you 99% of the time, the answer is no. Because when you're treating your career like a job, it's just a job. Why would you invest extra time and effort and money in someone else to help you? But you know what? Even before I started my own business, I've had a mentor. My first mentor I had was back in 2010. So that's about 11 years ago. It might be 2009 actually. And I've had mentors and coaches ever since. Right? Initially, when I first started, there's a lot of industry mentorship that you can apply for, and they're completely free. All you have to pay is the membership fee, and generally they're about $200 max a year. So in terms of investment, there's nothing. You can get it back on your tax return. But the benefits that I got from all of my mentors were tremendous. The first mentor that I got was when I got promoted to my position, and I really didn't know how to deal with men in my industry. I was in my late 20s, and I used to deal with a lot of men in their 50s and 60s. And like, why should I listen to you when you're about the same age as my daughter? Right. So from my very first mentor, I not only learned how to deal with men, I also learned that it was my time to move on. So she actually helped me change my mentality and realize that the problem isn't me. The problem is that I have grown out of an environment and it's time to move on. My second mentor helped me create the most amazing CV and industry connection that allowed me to then find a job, right? A job that was allowing me to grow. So, really, what I want to encourage all of you guys to do, it doesn't matter how long or how short you've been in your career path, always get a mentor. Always, always, always get a mentor or a coach. And if you're like, I really can't afford one, go and look out for an industry body that offers mentorship. And like I said, it doesn't cost a lot. It's an investment that's completely worth it. Right. And secondly, what I'm finding is also a lot of people don't realize that they're not building a network within the company. Your network is your net worth. And to have promoters within the company or sponsors, depending on what background you're from, is probably one of the most important career move that you can have. It's probably one of the most important career move because when it comes to promotion, in particularly, like I said, in the situation where there's gap in, the business, your promoters, your sponsors are going to be the ones that help you. Yeah, they're the ones that goes around and go, you know what, I reckon this person is going to be a perfect person for this job. I'm going to tell you guys a little story, right? So, actually, I'm going to tell you two stories as examples of how I have unconsciously really built promoters in every environment that I work in. And it's not hard, right? It's really through building great connections and relationships. Instead of whinging and complaining, build amazing relationships and making sure that these people are actually supporting your career, not backstabbing you. This is back in 2013. I got into my current company. And I wasn't happy there because back then I really didn't know what I was looking for. I know I'm passionate about building. But also I was suffering from a quarter life crisis, right? I was looking for more. And my vision has always been I wanted to be able to create buildings from its inception as it like a concept to completion. But none of the roles that I have applied for was able me to do that. And plus, I basically got demoted into a more junior position when I applied for the role because I just want to move from my previous company. The pay was better, but I wasn't doing as a senior as a role. As Yeah, I wasn't doing as a senior role as much as what I used to do, and also there wasn't as much variety. But I had an amazing team. I had an amazing team that really supported me. And for me as a person, like relationship is everything. So I applied for another job and got it. I basically got headhunted um, by another company after being in the company for about 15 months. I moved on because I thought that was what I was after, right? It was a developer and the promise that I get to be involved at every single stage of a project. It didn't quite turn out that way. And as soon as I hit the 1 month mark, I just had the instinct I might have made the wrong move. I might have made a wrong move. But you know what? I was very lucky because the owner of the business that I just quit used to come by and he would see me working on my own and we would have conversations. He would see me working on Saturdays. And I'm the kind of person that's no bullshit, right? I don't bullshit anybody, you don't bullshit. If I don't know, I'll find out, but I will never tell you porky pies, basically. So Richard, so the name of the company I'm working for is called Richard Cooks Construction. And Richard basically said to me, "You're going to regret moving to this other company. Is there anything that I could do to make you stay?" And I said, "No, Richard, I have to do it. This is something that I have to get out of my system. Just let me try it. It's just something I have to try." And he said to me, "You're going to come back. I know you will. Go and try it. I know you need to get it out of your system, but you're going to be back." I didn't really take much of it. I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." So I moved to my new company in November, and I still stay connected with all of my colleagues. My project manager was very fond of me as well, and he did everything that he could to make me stay. I was just like, "No, I made up my mind. I just want to try this." January the 5th, I got a text message from one of the managers. It's like, "Richard asked me to text you and see how you are." I was in tears because that was at my lowest low. I have just separated from my ex-husband. I was involved in a car accident before Christmas. No, just around that time, I had to get my car fixed. It was just like I was rock bottom. Yeah, my ex-husband was talking about selling the house. It couldn't get any worse, basically. And I was like, actually, as I responded, I'm like, actually, it's a lot worse than I thought. So he asked me to catch up. We caught up. He didn't offer me a job, but I literally have to. But the doorway was open, like the door was ajar, and I just need to open it. They're basically saying, if you ever want to come back, this is what we're currently doing. We might be able to offer. I'm like, is there a chance that I can come back? And he's like, "Oh, I have to check. Maybe. Like, would you want to come back?" I'm like, "I would love to. Seriously, I would love to." And literally on the spot, we talked about pay, we talked about our plan, we talked about how much time we need. It was as if like this dude just literally come to me. He knew that I wanted to come back, and it was there, right? But if it wasn't for Richard, if it wasn't for my project manager, I both say to him, look, this girl has got something. There's something about this girl. Go and find out if she's okay. She probably want to come back. See if she want to come back. If I didn't have those promoters in the business, I wouldn't have been given that opportunity, and I might have give up in construction. You'd be like, Lala, that's just good luck. That's just like one off. That can't be, an everyday situation. That's what I thought too. But then a few years ago, when I got poached again, and I get poached a lot, and this is really, I'm telling you, through a good CV on Seek, it still works. Recruiters go on Seek and look for CVs all the time. So this was back probably about 4 years ago now. My CV has been on Seek since 2012. Has not changed. Okay, and we're now talking about 2018. So it's an old CV from a recruiter sense. I got a call from a recruiter and they're like, love your CV. I believe I found a job for you. Are you interested? I'm like, nah. Happy where I am, not looking for anything. She's like, are you sure? Because this is a job description and I reckon you'll be all right for it. I'm just like, oh shit, that's actually a really good job and really good offer. So I got tempted. I'm like, how bad could it be, right? I'm just going to go for an interview. I'm not even going to get it, but if I get it, that's great. Bonus. I went in there, did my interview. And when it comes to pay, I'm like, I'm just going to add a lot on top of it. So I add about 30K on top of what I was getting back then. I'm like, that's a lot. Surely no one can match it. Also did my homework. That's like more towards the upper end of what that position was going to offer me. Well, they say yes. I got the job after 3 interviews. I was like, holy, oh my God, what am I gonna do now? I didn't actually intend to get the job. So, and I also know if I quit again, Richard's gonna kill me. So I went to my manager. And funny enough, it's the same manager. So I went back to the company. I still get to work with the same project manager. And I said, I'm really sorry, but I might have just got a job offer. He's like, how? I'm like, well, this is what happened. I really didn't think I was going to get the job. He's like, well, do you want it or not? Because it's a really good job. I'm like, well, I don't, I do and I don't, right? If I know there's no positions like this currently available in our business, but if you can find something you can match the pay, I would prefer to stay there and go because I really love the company. I've been with them for 5 years, 6 years. I really don't want to go. I screwed up, but this opportunity is too good to be to let go of. It's too good to be true. Well, not too good to be true. It's true. It's a good job. But I wasn't expecting that I would get the job. And it also tells you how much I was underselling myself, right? So, excuse me. So I got called by one of the senior managers next day. He's like, well, we might be able to. Let's just have a look. And so they had a chat with me and like, you know what? The main business doesn't have anything, but we think aged care might have something for you. They've been looking for a design manager for the past 6 months. Next day, went and saw my current managers. We had a chat. They both loved me. They're like, okay, we can't offer you as much as they do, but we can offer you this. So there was basically 10 grand. I'm like, well, how about you meet me in the middle? So give me a 25 grand pay rise. They're like, deal, done. You go and think about it and let us know. I knew what I wanted already. It's like that's a no-brainer. But what nobody had realized, and I didn't realize until I got the job, and I forgot about this. The reality is 10 years ago, this was my dream job, to be a design manager purely specialized in aged care. That was my dream job, right? Purely by accident. So I declined the job offer from another company. Oh, I got a tickly throat. I declined the job offer. I got promoted as a design manager in my current company, started working for them. Guess what? 12 months down the track, I got another 20K pay rise. So the moral of the story is a couple of things. And this is why I want to tell you guys the story, through the story, and letting you know some of the lessons I have learned throughout my career. If I didn't have a good promoter in my project manager who helped me elevated my concern and spoke to all the senior managers, and the senior managers understand that, that I have got these skills, I wouldn't even got my foot into these meetings. I wouldn't even have the opportunity to speak to my current managers and get what I've got now. But that's also through hard work, right? And to get the pay rise I had, it wasn't because I keep harping on about wanting a pay rise. I didn't even want to argue about the $5,000 difference. For me, working in the environment that I'm happy with a group of people that I enjoy working with, was more important than anything else. Especially in a climate like right now, when the head of a company is clearly saying we're putting a pay freeze on everyone's pay. Right? Understanding a culture, it's all about loyalty. You then go in there going like, I demand a pay rise. Guess what? You're not only not going to get a pay rise, you're more than likely ruining the relationship and the reputation you have built. So understanding your promoter, understanding who are your supporters, but also understanding the company culture. How does the company work? And I often say to people, like, if you know that you're not going to get a pay rise for your current company, best way for you to get your pay rise is to move on, to go apply for another job. You're better off that way. Right? So what's more important to you, the relationship or the pay? So for me, it's always the relationship, because I believe if I build and invest in the relationship, the pay will come. But also it is because the reason that I have that knowing is because I put myself in positions where I know the company values loyalty and commitment more than anything else. Right? The reason that I got my pay rise every single year isn't because I harp about it or I nag about it or I ask about it. Whenever I ask, I don't get, okay? But it's when I don't ask and I use my action to prove my loyalty, to prove my capability, to prove that I am the right woman for the job. I'm not even the loudest, okay? I'm not even the loudest. But when I do speak, I make sure I speak volume. I make sure when I do speak, I'm not just treating it like a job, right? When I speak in senior leadership meetings, it's about the strategy. It's about how do we get there? And it's about my point of difference. My point of difference is always going to be that I run my own business. I understand how social media works and how we can promote our business differently, how we can network differently, and how we can, for me, it's that outside of the box thinking that make me different. But it's also that I am so passionate about building relationship in my industry. No one else could do this relationship building piece more than I can. And my point of difference, guess what? It's also because I'm a woman in this industry. I offer something different just by being me. And because I've done so much work on myself, being me is so comfortable and so easy to me. So the final 2 tips I want to offer is number 1, work on yourself. When you work on yourself, everything else will follow. Your career will follow, your relationship will flourish in terms of your industry connections. I am where I am here today because I've worked on myself. Not because, really not because I've nagged and asked and keep pushing for it, because it doesn't work, right? The more you nag, the more that you ask, unless you're brilliant at building those relationships and people just like automatically, like literally, feel like they have to do it and they ignore the amount of nagging that you do. The way that I see things, I've been seeing things in this industry, 80% of the time, nagging doesn't work. But through you being you and having the confidence in being who you are, understanding your point of difference, that's what's going to work. But also, the other thing is asking the right people for the right opinions, right? Not going to people and just whinge about, oh, why aren't I getting a pay rise? Why am I not getting promoted? You want to make sure you ask people who are actually genuinely care about you and are going to tell you the truth, because not many people does. Not many people do, really, especially in the corporate environment. Not many people will tell you the truth. So you want to make sure you go to the right people who can offer you the truth without judgment and really genuinely care about you as a person, and ask the right questions. Not why aren't I getting a pay rise? Why aren't I getting promoted? What do I need to do? What do you think? Who do I need to talk to? What strategies and plans do I need to put in place so I can have the long-term gain, not the short-term gain? And that's what I'm seeing a lot of times. People are like, how do I get promoted? How do I get promoted? How do I get promoted? How do I get pay rise? How do I get pay rise? How do I get pay rise? Well, it's a bit like, are we there yet? It doesn't get any quicker. In fact, mentally, psychologically, it's gonna feel so much slower, right? Because you keep asking it, and keep asking it. And so many people say to me, Lala, and you're just lucky. I'm not. I just have better strategy when it comes to paving the path for my career, because I treat my career as a business, not as a job. So I really hope you find today's live helpful. And if you really desire to make a difference in your career in 2021, here are some of the ways that you can work with me. The very first option is that you can work with me long term. And I really desire working in the long term because we get to make shifts, make differences, long lasting shifts and long lasting differences in your life. And that's how I desire to build relationship. I don't build quickie relationship like a one night stand. I desire to build long lasting relationships so I get to understand you better. So you can work with me one on one for 9 months, minimum 9 months. And this is like my VIP package. You get to hang out with me weekly. So we get weekly calls. And also every 6 months, you get a personalized VIP, what I call immersion weekend. So it's a one-on-one immersion. Basically, it's almost like a retreat. So we can either run it online or in person, and that's completely up to you. You can take up the option or not, but it's all included. And you also get monthly healing sessions from me. As you know, I don't just work on a physical plane, I work on the mental, emotional, and spiritual plane as well. So you get your monthly sessions, healing sessions with me, as well as touch point every week, and also Voxer support, ongoing Voxer support 24/7. You can jump in there and talk to me whenever I feel energetically tuned in. I'll be in there as well. So that's a 9-month minimum commitment if you want to do one-on-one intensive VIP with me. If you're like, well, I don't really need that much touch point, but I do want to work with you on one-on-one, just not as intensive, then there's the, what do I call it? The Womanly Way School of Mastery. The Way School, the Womanly School of Mastery. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Maybe I should find a short acronym for it. So the Womanly School of Mastery. Ooh, got a little moth flying around. It's my 8-level process. So you get to work with me level by level, and I'll hold your hand and give you plenty of support and hold a space for you. And each level is 16 weeks. And right now I've got a special price of $1,888 US to work with me 16 weeks. We have our coaching session every fortnight, and you also get a online self-study modules. Again, you have ongoing Voxer support with me. You can just contact me anytime with any questions. And if you're like, well, you know what? That's probably still a bit too intense for me. I just want to try it out and see what the Womanly Way is really all about. Well, I've got my membership called the Womanly Way membership. Essentially, you have pre-recorded foundation modules that's already in there for you, ready for you can jump in anytime. And then every week we'll have a deep dive into a given topic, whether it's your career, your business, your relationship, or investment. All of these systems basically are founded upon what I call the Womanly Evolution. It's an 8-step system of how I continue to evolve, how I continue to go through and tick each of my goals, each of my big dreams, one by one, even when I have what some people might consider a really busy lifestyle. How do I have work and play and still be able to tap into my pleasure, still be able to have my spiritual practices, still have space to relax and chill and do nothing? How do I compress all this into my 24/7 and not having a burnout? That is basically founded in the Womanly Way Evolution system. That's an 8-step system, as easy as anything. If you can follow through all 8 processes, you'll be able to achieve your goals and dreams. And my job really isn't to tell you what you don't already know, but you already know. But my job is really to hold that space for you, to support you and guide you through that journey, let go of anything that no longer serves you, and hold you to a higher standard, and really just be there as a support and go, you can do this. What I'm seeing is a lot of women in particularly using our life as excuses and not being able to follow through. We all go through some way, shape, or form in our lives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 steps. Right. Sometimes we have steps missing because we don't know we needed them. Sometimes we may have and what you'll find is that the chances are the times that you have achieved something is because you have unconsciously followed through those 8 steps. So really all I'm doing is summarizing up those 8 steps that we really need in order to achieve our goals. Well, basically they help me achieve all my goals to date, and created a system where we can remove the obstacles that we have created for ourselves and no longer serves us, adding in any strategy that will help us. But also more importantly is that magic thing that I talked about. Work on ourselves, getting to know ourselves better, knowing our strength, knowing our strategy that we're born with. That's what I really believe. We all have strategy that we're born with that was meant for us, our gifts. You don't need someone else's strategy, right? And my job as your mentor isn't to give you all these other strategies that worked for me. My job as your mentor is to help you discover what is your magic formula that's already embedded in your DNA and bring it out to the world. So your uniqueness can shine, your moreness can shine, and that will allow you to have more, feel more, be more, and do more in your life by tapping into your innate moreness, your innate gift. We all have a gift. We all have a purpose in this life. And our job is really to discover it, experiment with it, experience it, and then embody it and master it. Once we master it, that becomes ours. That's our unique signature. And we get to help and serve the world with it whilst enjoying it, living a pleasurable life, and feel connected with the people around us, with ourselves, and with spirit. That's what I'm here for. So if you feel pulled to sign up to any of my program, send me a direct message either on Facebook, Lala Angela Wang, or Angela Wang, The Womanly Way. Or you can find me on Instagram, The Womanly Way. Or if you prefer, email angela@angelawang.com.au. Have a lovely, lovely night, and thank you for spending the night with me. I really hope I'll offer some value tonight and hopefully inspired you in creating an amazing career in some way, shape, or form. Love you all. Have a gorgeous night and happy Easter. Bye.